Kia ora, Virgo. Thanks for joining me. This is your reading for this, tongue-tied new moon in Gemini. Now, I've just been sitting here shuffling, and first card for you, remember these are very general readings. Take what works for you and don't take what doesn't. First card, all right, so we're shuffling. We get your card, Virgo. We get the beautiful Hermit. Whether you're taking time out or there's been a period where you've really wanted or felt the need to go inward, there's a reason for this. We get the Hierophant as well. It may have been, we go through and clarify anyway, but a time of maybe study or learning something new for you, Virgo, or some Virgos out there. Let's just get a couple more cards. So yeah, the Hermit goes in with the light, shines the light internally. That's some areas that need to be illuminated a little bit. Of course, the Hierophant, traditionally structures like churches that did rule everything. But it's also a card of information. Like you get handed a key. That information you need to find provides the actual, I don't know where I get this from, but provides the, the lock to that key lies within anyway. Do you know what I mean, Virgo? The lock to that Hierophant's key lies within. That's why I say there's some teaching or learning, something like that. It's work. 8 of discs. 8 of discs is perfecting something, is working away at something until you're fully satisfied with it, or that you've got burgeoning growth, and you want to protect that a little bit in its infancy. You want to kind of protect that a wee bit. So let's so look, it's quite serious. I mean, it feels quite serious. God, I'm so pleased the sun's come out. It was so grey. It's quite serious, she said. And don't be alarmed. So we get the Tower. Look, we get this blast of something that's potentially a bit mind-blowing. I mean, this could be some incredible development in your career. We see the Eye of Horus at the top. There's a lot of sort of cracking open and breaking down because it's about renewal and it's about building something up again. It's sort of like an exponential curve on a graph on a graph, Virgo, or something like that. And this is the sort of pinnacle of it. Very interesting. What else have we got here? Let's see. We'll just get one more card and then I'll go through and clarify. So this hard work, some sort of mentorship, but you've had to go inward in order to do this, to understand what this is for you. Caution not to be too sort of single-minded, single-focused here. I only say that because we get the four of discs, which is about letting things go. It's about a very strong structure that has one way in and one way out, Virgo. But I think being a Virgo, you would have looked at all the structural, the blueprints, all the aspects to this. The Four of Discs is, in the Thoth deck, it's called Power. What did I say? Caution to allow yourself to let something go here. In this card, we see one way in and one way out from an aerial view almost. And that access route is in the material world. This is a kind of storyline that starts from the inside and ventures outward here. There is tutelage, or there's mentorship in here, whether you're embodying that role or whether it's coming from somewhere else. But as I said, you get offered a key. This could be a very metaphysical, esoteric sort of information. You get offered the key to a lock that exists within you. We see structures entering. We see working hard at something, perfecting something. We also see that tower and needing to break something down to rebuild it, right? So let's just go through Virgo and we'll see if we can clarify this, Virgo, with your card coming out, with your card, the Hermit. Seven of Discs, a review. We're taking time, actually. It's not always that I get that with the Seven of Discs, but we're allowing ourselves time. And it may well be, this period for this new moon in Gemini, we've got time, by about the 10th or the 12th of June. Things sort of will start to really speed up. Seven of Discs is a card of review and just looking back, even energetically, at what you're putting out there, what you receive from that. And the Hierophant. Right, so we get these two cards coming out twice. Looking at the Hierophant, we have... There's something about not being bound here. We get the Ace of Swords and we have the Fool. Clean slate, new growth, discernment and clarity. I don't think you're having much of a problem figuring out what it is that you actually need at the moment. The Ace is something that we give form to, and we may well be giving it form in this Eight of Discs. And we're thinking about how to do that. That will benefit, that will give us a little bit more freedom, maybe, Virgo, a bit more freedom in our life, in our daily life. Because it's not actually about money. It's not about the money. Queen of Pentacles. I mean, this Queen is well and truly, the qualities of a Queen, benevolent, generous, ideally. Of course, there are archetypes of Queens that aren't like that so much. They're a little bit more power crazed. I don't know where that comes from, but this isn't about the money. This freeing yourself, it's got nothing to do with financials. It's psychological. It's not about your material position, is what I'm getting at all. Let's look at the Tower. The because this tower, we look at the tower, we get the Four of Discs again. We get the Four of Discs again. Something needs to loosen. Something needs to loosen up a bit here. Can we have another card for the Tower and the Four of Discs? Twice. Something does need to loosen up, I think. Something. We've got too many cards. We've got too many. Virgo. I'm just going to put those back and we'll keep shuffling. There's just far too many. The Tower, please. Virgo. The High Priestess. More internal investigation. This is very, it's a very confident reading, Virgo. Very confident. There's, I don't know, for some Virgos out there, there may well be, it's like, so if you look at it like a puzzle, there's just one piece that you need. Whether that's an understanding, I would think, an understanding of something within yourself. It is one piece of a puzzle which could, it's just what I'm getting, Virgo, which could go either way. It's a puzzle, right? It's a piece, like Meccano, is it? Or Lego? Well, no, it's not like that at all, because it's a little bit more fragile than that. There's a piece. Now, this piece of the puzzle that you find, because the High Priestess is all about intuitive, internal stuff, as the Hermit is, you know, the hero's journey. You, Virgo, it's your journey. This puzzle, I just get it either makes or breaks. Just because we find a final piece of the puzzle, we're not compelled, are we, to put it in its place. You know what I mean? I mean, we've got to the sort of end of a journey, kind of. I don't know why I'm getting this puzzle thing, but it's like a small little puzzle pulled out, like a house of cards or something, you know. You pull out one little card, the whole thing collapses. You pull out one little element of the structure, depending on the way it's built, maybe the whole thing collapses. Or you plug up the only way in and out, which in this case is through the earthly plane, is through the physical world. I'm not saying that this is not, I'm not saying this as a, I don't know what I'm saying, but as I said before, it's not about money. It's about something else. It's as if there's a Virgo, this could relate. If it was more of a personal reading, it would be a little bit more in depth. But it is like there's a Virgo that there's a all right, so there's a review, there's a journey, there's a sense of wanting, not necessarily to start over again, but to be sort of fresh, to not be reliant so much on the things around you. This idea of letting something go and it creates more flow. The idea of pulling out one little part of or piece of this Four of Discs, and that we recreate a new world for ourselves around us. That it's not about money, Virgo. This is what I'm getting. So it's quite, I don't know. So there's a piece of a puzzle, and in fact, as I said with that Hierophant, you get offered a key, just like you get offered the chance to go inward because you feel it, because you feel the need to, and you trust your gut. And so you go into the highways and byways of this High Priestess. There are very, very much, in my mind, similarities between that and the Hierophant. And so you get offered the key because you know that you're going inward. You know that the lock itself is within you. And all you have to do is, it's kind of puzzles and locks and, oh, Virgo, God. Because, anyway, just one last card, then we'll get a Brian Froud. We get the Nine of Discs because you are completely independent, surrounded by resources that you have created yourself. So you choose what you do with those resources. You certainly choose what you do with yourself. Virgo. That's just what I'm getting. So, Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairy. Get a little glimmer on this. It's all sort of quite full on there. We get, we get 2 cards, yes. Yes, there's definitely a lot of review going on, isn't there? I mean, looking at, like, the detail. Speaking of keys and locks and puzzles. The Dark Lady, very scorpionic. This is going down and deep and dirty. I mean, I'm talking into the areas of the mind that do need areas of the mind, psyche, whatever, that need that light, and you're doing it. We then have the Honesty card, which is about having a very clear transmission or transmitter here, like in the heart zone. There's a delicacy and a vulnerability to this card, but it is sheer honesty. It's all green. It's electric. It's a frequency. It's something you give out. And then we have Mark the Micromancer, which is about debit, credit, looking at the ledger. But sometimes it's not just about money. You know what I mean? So that's when it becomes sort of possibly conflictual, maybe, or maybe it's not for you, Virgo, Let's pull an Art Oracle card. We get Mondrian. It's a nice, fun, light deck. We get Mondrian. Logic should come from the heart. True simplicity takes a lot of concentration. Yes, to strip it all back. Find utopia in a straight line. It's sort of suggesting that, everything starts to become a lot more simplified. Somewhere in here, Virgo. While you're on this sort of journey. Thank you for joining me. Remember, these are really general readings. And check out your moon, ascendant, Venus and Jupiter if you know what they're in. So thanks for joining me. I'm pleased the sun's come out today here in this place. So Virgo, we'll see you hopefully with this up and coming full moon in Sagittarius. Take good care and ka kite.